going, everybody? StormeDegree14 here, and welcome back to another Nostalgia Critic reaction. Gonna be reacting to his newest episode of his review of Bruce Almighty. Now, as for Bruce Almighty, I mean, simplest terms, pretty much we just have Jim Carrey trying to be God for a week, and who knows how crazy that's gonna be, because I have actually never seen this before, but I've been told about it. The only reason I take remote interest in this is because Jim Carrey is involved with it, and I've seen some of his other stuff. I think he's a solid actor. I loved what he did in the Sonic movies. He definitely played Eggman perfectly, as well as Eggman's father. And again, he did play a lot of other characters, like in Liar Liar. Honestly, I think, as weird as this sounds, in The Grinch, I thought he was okay enough. I know that Doug would probably have my head for saying that, but you know what? Fine. Have my head, Doug. Because honestly, that movie is fine by me. I understand why people hate it, but not the point. We're here to look at this one, so I'm excited to see how this goes. That being said, let's get on with the reaction in 3, 2, 1. Let's see what we get into. Hey, Doug.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. You know, sometimes you get all the right ingredients together and yet you end up asking yourself, how the hell did I get a cake like that?
I see, so it was a big flop despite having everything I needed.
Almighty, I have no doubt, is probably liked by a fair amount of people, and I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say most of them grew up with it. I think most people can agree it's not on the same level as other Carrey comedies like The Mask or Dumb and Dumber. But why is that? It came out in 2003 when Carrey wasn't at his box office peak, but was still a huge draw. It was from other Carrey collaborators who made some enjoyable hits in the past. And the premise just sounds funny. Jim Carrey takes over as God. But most people agree something just felt off. Its Rotten Tomato score from critics and audiences isn't that strong. Despite a great opening weekend, the second week was a bigger drop than usual for a Carrey flick. And like I said, it's just not talked about much when discussing other great Carrey comedies.
Really?
So, what is it about this film that just doesn't feel right? Well, let's use divine intervention to find out. This is not the worst, but still pretty awkward. Bruce Almighty. And I'll say this as the credits roll, I don't think I've had a movie signal to me so quickly this just wasn't gonna be my kind of comedy.
Oh dear.
Jim Carrey in a hairnet? He doesn't wear hair, that's silly.
God, why do you hate me?
And that's the idea of the movie! This film's jumping right to the fun stuff! We see Carrey playing reporter Bruce Nolan, who mainly covers puff pieces like the world's biggest cookie. Certainly a lighter story you would see on the news, but even the way this is handled feels odd.
Yeah. What the heck? Oh no.
So 2 things went through my head while watching this. One,
please tell me you didn't think of anything suggestive there, because I know you have, Doug. Oh boy.
maybe the world's biggest cookie isn't that funny. It just makes me hungry for what I think Chips Ahoy should taste like, and then disappointed when I remember what Chips Ahoy tastes like. Second, stop me if you've heard this one, Jim Carrey really is too over the top for this. Now, like I've mentioned before, this can work great when properly motivated, like the lovable loser in The Mask or a selfish lawyer getting his comeuppance in Liar Liar. But here, he's supposed to be a snarky reporter who wants serious stories to cover, and I just don't buy it.
Sucks.
Okay.
Story about a cookie. I have no credibility. Not good. Not good.
When Bill Murray had to play a similar role in Groundhog Day, he mostly stayed professional, but you could tell there's that cynicism trying to get out and let people know he's miserable.
So I guess the question we have to ask ourselves today is, does Phil feel lucky?
This is your 3rd year in a row, isn't it, Phil?
4, Nan. 4.
Carrey either makes it painfully obvious he doesn't want to be there, or painfully obvious he does want to be there. Going more for what's big and silly as opposed to what's believable, which I don't think is what this movie needs.
It's a good thing we're wearing these today, because I wouldn't want any stray hairs to fall into the booger.
Moving on!
Jennifer Aniston plays his girlfriend Grace, who does what she does best, giving a great performance with a script that clearly doesn't deserve a great performance. See if this sounds familiar. She's the emotional support for the goofy main character.
Bruce, you
I figured she would be.
with this photo album. And you get your goofy butt over here.
And again, she does a great job, but because Carrey's performance always feels like a performance, it makes it hard to believe their chemistry.
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie needs a nap.
Yeah. I haven't seen thrashing around in a bed like that since like the world's biggest like freak out video, if you guys remember that. Even if it was staged, still super funny.
This is kind of like in She-Hulk, where the main character complains about nobody taking her seriously when she does everything in her power not to be taken seriously. Who in any dimension would look at this guy and say, yeah, his dream clearly is to become a serious anchorman?
And that's the way the cookie crumbles. And
Yeah.
that's the way, I like it.
The banner in this movie is called They Want Their Everything Back. Oh, and
Yeah, he's definitely not doing a good job. I know that's kind of the thing about Jim Carrey sometimes, is that his acting definitely can be a bit much sometimes. Again, he needs like a... I do kind of agree with Doug when he says that Jim Carrey is like acting... Well, like, again, the over-the-top can be fun. It still needs to be believable, which I definitely see is just not working over here.
if anyone thought John Debney's music was overly whimsical and Liar Liar, just going by the score, you'd swear every scene is Winnie the Pooh introducing Tinkerbell to Christmas.
Oh my goodness.
Pissing. It's pretty low on the magical moment scale.
Yeah, what the hell?
This stuff in a warehouse.
Where did you hear that?
A very reliable friend of a girl whose sister is going out with someone very high up in the government.
He wants to be a cable news anchor.
Claire Beats. The kids made
You know, you can't trust those news channels anymore.
it for me. They will keep you safe.
It'll protect you from roles with Eastern European accents. Occasionally there is a laugh.
Meeting started without me. This is my luck. This is my luck.
And again, some more good casting with Steve Carell playing Evan Baxter, a reporter who's also after a news anchor position.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles.
You like jazz, Evan?
I'm sure I put
Oh,
hard
no.
in my comments section on my review of B-Movie. Don't do callbacks.
I was gonna say, we just reviewed that.
Though if there was a meme to respond to another meme, I guess that'd be it.
Great choice, Jack. This is the Cadillac of baloney.
Okay, thanks.
Well, that guy certainly did something with the one line he had.
The Cadillac of baloney.
Bruce, you're a good reporter. You make people laugh.
Like reporters are supposed to do? Why does everybody think journalism is stand-up? Okay, answer my own questions again.
Our beloved Pete Feynman is retiring.
While doing a story live, he gets interrupted to be told that Evan got the news anchor position Bruce was fighting for. Well, given everything else I've seen from Carrey, I'm sure he'll bring a lot of subtlety to his reaction.
Eroding beneath me. Eroding.
Making silly faces to the camera is childish and should only be done by YouTubers in their 40s.
Yeah.
Did you feel bad at all letting Leo DiCaprio drown while you were safe floating on the big door?
Okay, that one's pretty good. Want to see the moment when Hollywood start botching that one F-bomb into PG-13
Yeah, that's a
film
little
loophole?
crazy.
I'm Bruce Nolan for Eyewitness News. Back to you, fuckers.
That guy trying to swear in Fargo made it sound less weird than him.
Yeah.
No surprise, he's fired from his job, but he does stick up for a homeless man being mocked, resulting in himself getting beaten up.
Gee! Okay, that was kind of fun on.
He's fired from his job, but he does stick up for a homeless man being mocked, resulting in
like, look at all those people when they run over.
himself getting
Were they all like in some weird like conga line?
beaten up.
Look, like this just looks like a guy gets like mobbed by a conga line.
Let's thank God, shall we?
Honey, you know that everything happens for a reason.
That is a cliche. That is not helpful to me.
It's the first believable thing he said. Has anyone ever reacted to that phrase like,
You know that everything happens for a reason.
huh, things do suddenly make a lot more sense, thank you. He, of course, blames God for all his problems, and I'm sorry, not only is Carrey not believable here, but he is way too unlikable.
I'm not okay with a mediocre life.
Jeez.
Is that what you think that we have?
Don't make this about you.
I'm the only one trying to sink this production. I think I deserve the credit.
Jeez, Carrie, what's wrong with you?
I'll have the worst day of my life with a side order of guilt, please.
That wonderful moment when you realize I still have an hour 20 with this character. He uses the prayer beads to ask God for a miracle, but it ends up crashing his car. So he declares that God is the one who should be fired. Then suddenly he starts getting paged constantly from an unknown number.
Oh, God. Is
Does
it
this
gonna...
guy do anything normal? I'd swear he's want to fly with a flamethrower.
Yeah.
He eventually calls the number, though, and apparently he's getting offered a job at a strange location. And I know it's not fair comparing Jim Carrey to Bill Murray. They both have completely different styles. But when a news anchor steps in a puddle, it's impossible not to connect it back to Groundhog Day. And guess who did the reaction?
Kind of.
Oh! Come on! Look! What is that? What is that?
You know the idea of actors pretending a camera is not on you, right?
Yeah.
He runs into a janitor played by Morgan Freeman, who asks him to help with the floor, but Bruce says he'll have to give him a rain check.
I'm free.
See, when I saw this has made me feel... This is why I was confused for a second, because I thought this was the one that Doug referenced earlier, where it's about the guy building the ark, but it's not. That's what I thought this was initially. But it's very strange that they tend to have Morgan Freeman in a lot of, like, godlike positions. I mean, I guess he's got the voice for it, at least whenever he needs to explain anything.
Free on the 7th. That's 7.
7th, that's 7 it is.
And yeah, okay, I like God as a janitor. I think that's a pretty cool idea. And as Bruce goes further up, he sees the same man in a fine suit. And I'll totally admit I was a janitor when this film came out, so this line kind of stuck with me.
People underestimate the benefit of good old manual labor. It's freedom in it. Some of the happiest people in the world go home smelling to high heavens at the end of the day.
Granted, the way you leave that job could also lead to some happy moments.
Yeah.
He introduces himself as God, and it is weirdly an understatement to say this is very good casting. Freeman plays this role so naturally, and seeing how we've heard his voice through countless narrations, it does make sense he would represent the ultimate voice.
True.
Oh, I know quite a lot about you, Bruce. Just about everything there is to know.
And yeah, I hate to keep bashing on him so much, but Freeman's pitch-perfect delivery really does reflect even more how irritatingly off Carrey's delivery is.
Yeah.
I'm God.
Bingo! Yahtzee! Is that your final answer? Our survey says...
Freeman's so good, I really do believe he's the creator looking at his creation thinking, I really should have had him born with a bottle of Ritalin in his hand. Again, though, some of these bits are good.
Okay, how many fingers am I holding up?
7.
Okay, I was not expecting that. That was good.
High special effect. I'm sure you know where this is going. Bruce thinks he can do the job better, so God gives him all his powers to prove it.
When you leave this building, you will be endowed with all my powers.
You know, I think there's some dictators and war criminals slaughtering countless families, but yeah, focus your attention on this guy sick of doing big cookie stories.
Excuse me, I need a spoon.
Ew.
God's powers are similar to the devil's sometimes.
Yeah. Ah, nice. The Red Sea. Get it? Haha.
You keep relying on food jokes. I do not think it is funny as you think it is funny.
No.
God decides to explain the rules to Bruce before he takes over. As he says, he can't tell anyone he's God, and he can't mess with free will. Alright, for the light comedic setup this movie has, those are simple and memorable rules. There is a decent idea in this.
Oh boy.
Bruce mainly uses his powers to treat women like objects, get revenge, and commit horrific acts under the guise of peace.
Oh, good lord.
He only read the Old Testament.
Hey,
yeah.
little dwelling butt monkey.
Ah, how my mother would greet me every morning.
Okay. Yeah, those jokes alone are a pretty good reason not to watch this. Good grief. I don't know, maybe I'm just too sober for something like this. But yeah.
Hello, I'm a nostalgia critic.
Yes, we know.
Trusted internet personality that's not to be trusted. I'm here to tell you about Factor. Factor has a lot of good promotional stills like these, but there's so much more than that. Deliciously more.
You know, Doug, you're starting to scare me a little. With how you're talking, it's
2-minute meals from Factor.
With how he's talking, it's starting to sound like an AI voice of him, which unfortunately could be possible. But I mean, I know it's not, but the implication is kind of scary.
Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat up and enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want.
Yeah.
Like listening to cars pass by. Get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat. Perfect for any lifestyle. With 45 weeks of menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. Which is a menu made up exclusively of people with the name More. Do not eat people named More, my cautiously pessimistic lawyer is telling me. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to save more this spring. Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. I enjoy Factor for the #1 reason you should enjoy Factor, for the great taste. You know how you try some meal kits that are delivered to you and you're like, oh, they just put some sauce on the cardboard box it was delivered in.
Pretty much.
More. That thing I said earlier. Well, Factor tastes like a legitimately good meal. Like, whenever I open one of these up, I can't wait to see what they taste like. They are legit really, really good.
Okay.
Not every close-up needs a laugh. Get started at factormeals.com/nostalgia50off and use the code nostalgia50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
Yeah, I think
That's
I'm
code
good, Doug.
nostalgia50off at factormeals.com/nostalgia50off for 50% off plus free shipping.
Wonder if one day I'll get
Nostalgia
sponsors.
Critic, and yes,
Maybe.
I was looking more at the stuff behind me than I was myself. You should get Factor because of that.
I feel you, Doug. I feel you. That hit a little too close to home. But I know I'm not funny.
Come watch me play Resident Evil 2 every Friday on Twitch. I've never played a Resident Evil game before, so it should be pretty fun. We also have content 5 days a week. Hope to see you there. Bruce returns home and gives himself a romantic evening with Grace, bringing the moon closer for atmosphere, and yeah, I will admit, these two bits crack me up.
What the hell? What the hell?
Their bed in the basement of the building. However,
Good
it turns out
lord.
The moon caused tsunamis in Japan. That's kind of so awful I got a snicker at it. And yeah, every comedy for a while had to have a silly pet scene to end their trailer on.
There's something about Mary.
Oh!
Christmas with the Crank.
Oh.
Bruce Almighty.
We really need that style for other genres.
Old Yeller.
Oh!
Or maybe not.
Dog! Come on! Oh. Oh my lord, that'd be so bad. Or freaking Marley and Me and the scene with him in the hospital. Actually, they didn't do that, did they? No. Why would they?
He tries to get his job back by accidentally discovering the body of Jimmy Hoffa and coincidentally having a camera there to cover it. He does immediately get his job back as he keeps stumbling into amazing story after amazing story during his puff pieces. He also sabotages Evan's reports, and I'm a simple guy. Combining Steve Carell's funny voices with Jim Carrey's funny faces makes my dopamine giggle.
What about the chip?
Every movie gets at least one pass to be 5 years old for a second.
Let's say, that's where that meme sound comes from, him going,
Bruce takes Grace out to a fancy restaurant as she thinks he's finally gonna propose. Gee, I wonder what giving her that idea.
Grace. I got anchor.
Oh wait, I also forgot the engagement ring. Promising me the role of lead on-air personality. You're jumping to some weird conclusions. Bruce has to be completely unlikable in another department, though, answering the prayers he's constantly hearing in his head. He tries to keep track of them in different ways, which, yeah, again, leads to some creative imagery. And he finally figures out to convert them into emails.
I better manifest some coffee.
Hola, Juan Valdez.
I think we all know how Satan would manifest his coffee.
Oh, yeah. Freaking Mr. Wilkins. I swear, Doug, I cannot thank you enough for showing us this guy, because he's such a funny character.
Now that's fresh mountain-grown coffee from the hills of Colombia.
It should have been Wilkins.
That's a big paycheck they must have gotten for that product placement. He tries answering them all, but doesn't even make a dent, so he just says yes to all of them. Afterwards, Bruce celebrates his victory at a party. Yes, sorry, man, to steal religious imagery. Maybe you were subtle. And we get this bit of stupid.
Would ever talk?
Now, you could say he wasn't really pushing her off, so he was thinking about cheating on Grace, or you could say he was forced upon and Grace just happened to walk in at the exact wrong moment. So take your pick. You can either hate it because they made an unlikable character even more unlikable, or you can hate it because it's the mother of all forced and contrived plot points. Either way, I don't feel shit for anyone, and I'm just annoyed.
You can't leave me. I'm the alpha, lady. I'm the Omega, baby.
So makes me want to say, maybe Joffrey got a bad rap.
Yeah.
He changes his mind, though, and keeps...
Good grief. It really is just that. But what the hell are they doing with Jim's killing? Like, making him so unlikable. You're damn right, but dang, I did not realize it was this bad. I mean, to be fair, I guess he's had worse characters, but even so, this is just hard to watch.
He's trying to use his tricks to win her back. He partakes in what's commonly known as YouTuber therapy.
Love me. Love me.
No.
Love me!
You can't bend free
Facing
will.
as a mirror and crying. As it looks like all the prayers he answered yes to are backfiring, as when everybody gets what they want, nobody gets what they want.
Well, you're right on time. 7 o'clock.
Why, I can't believe this came back into play.
With the freaking, like, New York Yankee hat, I think that's what that is.
Seriously, the score to Care Bears would kick this soundtrack's ass.
Alrighty then.
Well, you can quote other Jim Carrey movies you like in the hopes of confusing you into liking this one.
You want to see a miracle, son? Be the miracle.
And again, even with obvious writing, Freeman's delivery does make the message sound more meaningful and less chicken soup of the soul.
But what if I need you? What if I have questions?
That's your problem, Bruce. That's everybody's problem. You keep looking up.
Nobody ever puts together that Satan is the answer.
No.
Bruce tries being a slob like one of us and finds himself being more fulfilled helping out in smaller yet more ethical ways. He even gets Evan his old job back.
In the financial world, things are settling back to normal in what analysts are calling a fluke market fluctuation.
This really is fiction.
Yeah.
So, okay, show Gracie's change and hand the reins back to God. That'll take, what, 5 minutes, something like that? None of this film thinks we're really sucked into the high drama of it, so it's kind enough to give us 20 minutes of this.
Oh,
And
Lord.
yes, it's a slow 20 minutes.
How's Grace?
I really didn't come to chat, okay, Bruce? I came for Grace's stuff.
You know what Grace does? She prays. Most of the time for you.
Dear God, please help Bruce find himself, find contentment, find you.
I don't want to hurt anymore. Help me forget. Help me let him go.
I want you to decide what's right for me. I surrender to your will.
God, The Majestic was so long and melodramatic, it's working its way into the following Jim Carrey movies.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's... I could not stand watching that many minutes of it. No way.
You win. Please. I don't want to do this anymore.
Me, whenever I have to... Me, when I'm losing any video game. You win. I don't want to do this anymore. Any PvP match, that one person.
Pureflix has less crying about God in relationships. He accidentally gets hit by a truck because this movie needs to be dragged out further. And not to show off Carrie's acting, but Carrie's acting.
Why? Why now?
No, really. Count how many lines he says in a bassy whisper.
What do you want me to do?
Use them.
Peace to all of mankind.
What do you really care about?
Grace.
You want her back?
No. I want her to be happy. I want her to find someone. I want her to meet someone.
That's a prayer.
Through your eyes. Yeah.
This is becoming AS Jim R.
I was about to say, like, honestly, it's getting worse than a freaking ASMR. Ugh. I already have enough problems with that.
He's brought back to life after he says he just wants Grace to be happy, and guess what? Grace is only happy when she's with him.
Boo. Boo.
I don't know what I would have done.
What a charming story this will be to tell our divorce lawyers. These two are awful for each other.
Yes. Good grief, after how you've treated her, and after literally cheating on her. Good grief, no. Oh god, this is almost as bad as the freaking Ghost Rider love story. Or like love interest, you know what I'm talking about.
They end up getting engaged, and of course, his first puff piece back is talking about how important it is to give blood.
Reminding you to... You heard him.
I'm counting that face he made as a visual bassy whisper.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Unfortunately, I'm out of fingers. Well then.
So the next homeless person I see could be... Oh wait, no, he's wrong. Anyway,
Nice.
this really sucks.
Yeah. This is bad.
It's a little worse than I remembered. On the one hand, yes, this is supposed to be a very lighthearted comedy. You're not supposed to think that much about it. And had it stuck to that, maybe I'd be more lenient. But A, it's not that funny. Even by the low bar believability it establishes, I just don't see any of Carrie's reactions as genuine.
No.
Or relatable, or even absurd enough. And B, it doesn't just stay a lighthearted comedy. It tries to go deeper, and it's not very good at it.
No.
It comes across as a little too self-important, which you can have a hint of in a comedy like this, but The last 20 minutes is so boring and really does take itself too seriously. However, I will say, I don't hate the movie. The simple message is fine if you don't think too hard about it. And there are some good performances, but a lot of it just comes across as really awkward.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, for example, a show that does, I think, do like a lot of dark comedy and like self comedy or stuff like that, but also keeps like a good story or like good serious moments despite that, is definitely like Hell of a Boss, honestly. Because listen, it's been a while. I don't know, like, I feel like I'm just comparing one example to this one. I don't know. I'm just, oh my gosh, I can't speak. I'm just saying that is Hell of a Boss is a good example of what this was trying to be, but failed miserably at. That is what I'm trying to say. Good grief, Bob. All right, enough pausing.
I don't think this is Carrey's worst movie. Hell, I don't even think it's his worst comedy by a long shot.
Really?
But I will say, if this film wants to be seen as one of the greats, it doesn't have a prayer. I'm a nostalgia critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
All right.
Hey, little anal-dwelling butt monkey.
Excuse me, pardon your French, sir? But, yeah. Okay, so... Yeah, Bruce Almighty, very bad. Yeah, definitely not one of Jim Carrey's better films, that's for sure. Because, good grief. Again, I know, like, there's a lot of... Definitely, like, one, yeah. That's kind of one of the things about Jim Carrey's acting, is that it can be a bit much sometimes. Most of the time, it's like... Again, he really likes to go over the top, which can work. I do think, like, he definitely excels at doing that, but again, there's kind of a time and place for something like that, you know? And I do agree with Doug, it's gotta be believable, and this one is just not. What a grief. Yeah, I think I could have done better not knowing this was in my mind, but... But apparently that's Bruce Almighty, everybody, and considering what it is, I'd say, yeah, when you watch this, you're definitely going to need a lot of prayers. Hopefully, it's not Jim Carrey, though, that answers. No. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Regardless, be sure to like and subscribe, check out Doug's channel, subscribe to him, and with that being said, I'll see y'all next time. Bye!